Welcome to our first domestic episode where we'll accompany you as we visit both the largest and the smallest states in the United States, Alaska and Hawaii. And we'll be doing it by sea and air.
Now, currently we are in the middle of a worldwide pandemic and not doing any traveling, but luckily we took this Alaska cruise before cruises took a dive. Yikes, bad simile.
Yuri.
What? Would you rather I said they were sunk?
While Alaska is known for its Arctic landscapes and Hawaii is known as a tropical paradise, both were rife with history, breathtaking natural wonders, and tasty treats. So come up and away with us as we fly to Hawaii after cruising Alaska.
Welcome to Up and Away, as we sail the high seas for a change on our trip to Alaska. So join us on Norwegian Cruise Line's The Bliss ship, which is brand new and giant. Apparently there are 4,000 passengers aboard. There's plenty to do, plenty to see. We'll show you the ship and we'll show you Alaska. So come up and away and on the high seas.
As we prepared to leave port, everyone went to the upper deck to wave goodbye to Seattle, and we were met with a party atmosphere we were worried we wouldn't be able to live up to. But we girded our loins for excitement
And midnight chocolate buffets.
and set sail for the high seas, or in this case, the very calm and tame seas. For those of you who are new to cruise life, most of the time on board is spent in the dining room.
Dining rooms?
I stand corrected. And for those of you who watch the show, you'll know that if there is anything we like more than food, it is multiple places to eat the food. But seriously, the International Fair makes for an amazing, interesting culinary experience.
And by that we mean sheer gluttony. Our first port of call was the picturesque fishing town of Ketchikan, where we had planned excursions to visit the Alaska Rainforest Sanctuary, watch a lumberjack show, and take in the sights. Maybe even see a bald eagle if we're lucky. But first, our eagle eyes spotted a seaplane coming in for a landing. Hey guys, we're in the rainforest outside of Ketchikan in Alaska. And look, this is a real bear warren, bear burrow, bear cave. With a too obvious front door, so it might not be the best choice. But you can see the moss hanging from the trees, and here we are in beautiful Alaska. Ketchikan, just outside of Ketchikan, which is known for its salmon and just natural beauty and history.
So one of the great things about being in a rainforest is actually seeing the forest work. And right here behind me, there's one of the beautiful trees that has fallen and is actually now becoming fertilizer for the rest of the ecosystem, which is really cool.
You may notice some of the old equipment rusting away in the background. Well, we learned that much of this, such as this crane, were important to the mining, lumber, and railroad industry, but weren't worth the cost of removing once the jobs were completed, so nature has started to reclaim them.
We even got to visit an old lumber mill, where we saw a bunch of stuff. Get it? Saw? Yeah, sorry about that. Logging aside, even more impressive was the totem pole sculptor who we were fortunate enough to catch at work. The craft that goes into making these totem poles is a wonder, and the master craftsmen make sure that each tell a story.
As logging is a huge part of the history and economy of this region, a popular tourist attraction is the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show, which showcases many of the lumberjack skills in the form of a playful competition.
Boy, that lumberjack show really tuckered me out. I was starving. Luckily, fresh fish is something that Ketchikan does really well, as you can see by the look on my face.
But enough adventure for today. It was time to head back to the ship to continue north to our next port of call, Juneau.
No, Tara, I don't know. What's the next port of call?
Yuri.
Oh, right. In Juneau, we hiked into the beautiful Tongass National Forest to get as close as we could to Nugget Falls and catch a glimpse of the Mendenhall Glacier.
So we're right outside of Juneau right now, in Juneau, Alaska, and behind me is Nugget Falls. It's a beautiful, beautiful waterfall. And it lets out into this Mendenhall Lake area, which is right next to the giant, beautiful Mendenhall Glacier. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? The blue, blue ice.
We followed up our nature hike with a trip to a salmon hatchery to see the salmon spawning before we ate them. But alas, we were too early. The spawning season hadn't quite begun. So we visited the baby fish and headed outside to imagine the salmon leaping up this salmon ladder. I was hoping that there would at least be some salmon for us to eat. And there were! Our trip to the salmon hatchery ended in a salmon bake where we were treated to a delicious meal. So here we are at the salmon bake that ends our day in Juneau, and Yuri's first beer. Cheers to Juneau. Live music, fresh salmon off the grill, cornbread, beer, and they even have a s'more station. It's a good way to end the day, our second day in Alaska. Cheers.
As this is in the footprint of the historic Wagner mine, you can still see people panning for gold by the Salmon Creek waterfall. And then we headed back to the ship to embark again, this time for Skagway. It was definitely getting colder as we moved north, as evidenced by the chunks of ice in the water. And we spotted another glacier, the Sawyer Glacier. They got us as close as they could, and we did our best to take it in, because due to global warming, it has been shrinking, and we don't know how much longer there will be a view like this. So take it in.
Today we're in Skagway, an old Yukon mining town, or at least a pass-through on the way to all the mining. It's known for the train that still runs here, but as you can see, and we're gonna get on that train later. You'll see. But as you can see, the town in the Main Street area still looks very much like it probably did back then in the 1800s, when the 1890s, I think, when the Yukon Gold Rush was happening. You can sort of see the streets are lined with Maine This building, the facade of which is covered with 8,800 pieces of driftwood, started its life as a meeting hall for the Arctic Brotherhood, a fraternal organization formed in 1899 by a group of gold prospectors seeking their fortunes. Perhaps some of these fine gentlemen are members of the Arctic Brotherhood. Shall we join them for a pint and a plastic snack?
It was time to ride the rails, so we boarded the White Pass and Yukon Route Railway to take a trip back in history and walk in the footsteps of the daring gold prospectors. All aboard!
After that harrowing train ride, we weren't going to pass up a chance to do a little panning for gold of our own. All in all, we came away with about $20 in gold dust for our troubles. Not too shabby.
So we decided to spend some of our gold nuggets back on the ship to get... Oh, wait a minute. All the food on board is included. But we wanted a little sweet treat after all the adventuring, and we weren't disappointed. It was gold of a different nature.
And then it was time for a relaxing cup of coffee as we just watched the ocean go by. And then some high tea. On the way back to Seattle, the ship planned to stop for a short visit to Vancouver Island. Just enough time for tea at the historic Empress Hotel.
So, our particular itinerary allowed us to stop just for a little time in Victoria, Canada. So of course we had to come to the Empress Hotel and have a spot of tea. Cheers.
The rest of downtown Victoria was a lovely cultural mix of European cafe culture, shopping, and one of the largest Chinatowns we've ever seen. Yes, of course we stopped for dim sum.
We are bloated and happy and well-traveled, and we hope that you'll join us next time on Up, Up, and Away, where we probably won't be on a ship, but I'm sure there will be some adventure. Thanks for joining us. Surprise! You thought the episode was over, didn't you? Don't forget, we've still got the island state of Hawaii. Leaving the 49th state, we head to the 50th for a slight change in scenery. First stop, the island of Oahu, where we touch down in Waikiki.
Welcome to Hawaii. We stayed at the Moana Surfrider Hotel, which was the first hotel in Waikiki built at the turn of the century and influenced by popular European styles of the time. And the banyan tree in its courtyard is on the rare and exceptional tree list as a millennial landmark. And it didn't hurt that the hotel is right on the beach.
Even on island time, I still need my morning coffee. And the Kona coffee on the island is a treat indeed. Because the growing season in Hawaii lasts all year long, you can get amazing fruits and vegetables anytime you want. And it's more than just pineapples, though there are plenty of those too.
You know how much we love high tea. Well, here we are enjoying a delicious and delectable high tea here in Hawaii, right on the beautiful beaches of Waikiki. But we couldn't spend all our time in the sun and surf gorging ourselves. We had to bask in the hotel's history and get out and see the town, and throw a hang ten to the father of modern surfing, Duke Kahanamoku. Did you think Dulwood was just for Disneyland? Home of the pineapple. Mahalo.
Fancy drink by the pool? Check. That's actually CSI Miami. It should be CSI Hawaii. And what we're investigating today is Hawaiian breakfast. You know, I'm a foodie, I'm a brunch hound, and we're at Eggs and Things in Waikiki, and we have fresh ai tuna and rice and eggs and key lime pancakes, and I'm salivating. I don't want you to watch me eat them right now because I'll be ashamed at how messy I get. So I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna have to imagine it. Of course, I can't do all the eating. Tara also had to sample the local fare. Acai bowls were a morning staple of our trip, and were delicious. What you are about to see next is something I had never encountered before. Peanut butter, mango, and honey sandwich on freshly baked bread. Let's see how it goes.
But we can't only eat breakfast, so we appealed to a local friend named Nick to take us to his favorite sushi bar.
とっくり亭は寿司のレストランだけじゃなく、めっちゃオシェンティックな居酒屋だし。
Yuri, for the folks at home?
That's what subtitles are for. Plus, we have to get to the island of Maui.
Oh, it's so good.
Common misconception is that Hawaii is always sunny. It actually is super tropical and rains pretty much every day. And if you go in April, like we did, you definitely have to bring your windbreaker.
It was time for a little trip to historic Front Street in Lahaina for some window shopping and shave ice. Island culture here is actually a melting pot of a number of cultures, from Native Hawaiian to Japanese and Chinese, as can be seen on almost every street.
No trip to Hawaii is complete without a Mai Tai. And no touristy tourist trip to Hawaii is complete without a luau.
Thanks for coming along to both Alaska and Hawaii. Until we meet again, or as they say in Hawaii,
Ahoy,
ahoy
hoy.
hoy.
Thanks for joining us as we went up, and away to Hawaii. We'll see you next time.
Mahalo.